We had some really good time and score execution moments, offensively and defensively, in those moments. We just have to have more of it consistently.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Man, I'm telling you right now, I have officially reached my limit with Stephanie White. Seriously, every single game, every single press conference, every single decision. It feels like we are watching the Indiana Fever waste one of the biggest stars women's basketball has ever seen. And honestly, I cannot wait until the day Stephanie White is gone. I know that sounds harsh, but at some point, people have to stop pretending everything is fine when it clearly is not. And the scary part? There is always a chance the Fever pull a Nico Harrison type move. I know people don't even want to hear that comparison, but think about it for a second. Fans always believe their franchise would never do something crazy. Fans always think their team is smarter than that. Then suddenly, the front office makes one terrible decision and changes the future of the organization forever. Because let's be honest here, the Caitlin Clark hype is still massive, but it does not feel the same as it did months ago. And that is not Caitlin Clark's fault. The Indiana Fever organization has played a role in cooling off some of that unbelievable momentum. From bulking her up too much, to pushing her through injuries in preseason, to the constant chaos around the roster and coaching decisions, it feels like the franchise has mishandled the biggest opportunity they've ever had. And eventually, money becomes part of the conversation too. People do not want to admit it, but keeping Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Stephanie White together long-term may not be realistic. At some point, the organization is going to have to choose a direction. Do you fully build around Caitlin Clark, or do you try to protect the current structure around Kelsey Mitchell and Stephanie White? That's the uncomfortable reality nobody wants to talk about. Because Caitlin Clark is not just another young player, she projects to become one of the greatest point guards the game has ever seen. We are talking about a generational superstar. And yet, when Stephanie White gets asked about her after carrying the team back into games almost by herself, the energy always feels weirdly cold compared to other coaches around the league. Look at Nate Tibbetts defending Alyssa Thomas publicly. Look at Becky Hammon constantly backing A'ja Wilson. Great coaches proudly support their superstars. But when Stephanie White was asked about Caitlin Clark after she dragged the Fever back into the fight once again, the response just did not hit the way fans expected. And people are noticing it more and more every single game.
Yeah, Steph, what did you think of the rally that your team had in the fourth quarter, particularly when it comes to Caitlin? I think she made 5 threes in that fourth quarter, more than her first 2 games combined. So just your thoughts on the resilience from her.
I thought our whole group showed resilience, in that rally. We showed the ability to make tough shots. We had some really good time and score execution moments, offensively and defensively, in those moments. We just have to have more of it consistently.
This is exactly what I've been talking about when it comes to the Indiana Fever and the way Caitlin Clark gets discussed after these games. Because when Stephanie White was asked about Caitlin Clark taking over, the answer was basically, well, it was really the whole team. No, it was not the whole team. Stop it. The Indiana Fever's on-off numbers literally tell the entire story right now. There are only a few players on this roster consistently giving positive impact minutes: Sophie Cunningham, Myisha Hines-Allen, and Caitlin Clark. Ironically, Damiris Dantas has some of the best on-court numbers on the entire team too. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark currently has some of the best on-off numbers in the entire league. So when people try to act like this comeback was some balanced team effort, that is just not what happened. This was Caitlin Clark saying, forget this, I'm getting us back into the game myself. And that is exactly what she did. The offense looked completely broken. Nobody could create separation. Nobody could get clean looks. Possession after possession felt ugly. Then Caitlin Clark basically took control and said, enough. I'm taking over. She started attacking, started firing shots confidently, started forcing the defense to react. And suddenly, the energy completely changed. And honestly, that is the formula when you play with Caitlin Clark. It's not complicated. Move without the basketball, cut hard, run the floor. If Caitlin gives you the ball, move it back quickly and keep the offense flowing. Good things happen when the ball is in Caitlin Clark's hands. That's just reality. But instead, the Fever keep going away from what clearly works. Damiris Dantas has some of the best net ratings on the team, yet there are stretches where players struggling badly statistically still continue getting priority minutes. And that's where fans get frustrated with Stephanie White, because sometimes it feels like she says one thing publicly, then coaches the exact opposite way during the game. Now listen, I'm not sitting here saying Stephanie White is trying to sabotage Caitlin Clark. I actually think Stephanie White is a very smart basketball coach. I also think she genuinely tries to protect her players publicly and keep confidence high inside the locker room. But at the same time, you can absolutely feel that she was not fully happy with the way Caitlin Clark took over that game, because Caitlin Clark did it her way. And honestly, a lot of coaches are like that. A lot of coaches want everything done as strictly within their system, their structure, their vision. It's my way or no way. That's not unique to Stephanie White. But the issue is this. When you have a generational player like Caitlin Clark, sometimes you have to adapt to her greatness instead of forcing her into something more controlled. That's why Kelsey Mitchell's comments stood out so much after the game. Kelsey basically said Caitlin Clark put the team on her back. She talked about how Caitlin stayed aggressive, kept attacking, and hit huge shots after starting slow. That sounded real. That sounded honest. Meanwhile, when Stephanie White talks about Caitlin Clark compared to the way she talks about Kelsey Mitchell or Aaliyah Boston, fans notice the difference immediately. Last season, there were constant compliments for Kelsey and Aaliyah, but conversations around Caitlin Clark always felt colder and more reserved, and this game proved it again. Caitlin Clark pulled herself out of a rough first half and almost single-handedly dragged the Fever back into the game. The game-tying shot? Huge moment. The momentum shift? Caitlin. The energy? Caitlin. So hearing the whole team was resilient frustrated a lot of people because honestly, the whole team struggled for long stretches. And the game completely changed once the ball stopped living in Caitlin Clark's hands. The second the offense went back into slow isolations and random possessions, the momentum disappeared. If the Fever had simply let Caitlin Clark dictate the offense down the stretch with Myisha Ainz-Allen, Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, and Mo Billings around her, they probably win that game. It really feels that simple sometimes. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this.
Billings, another offensive rebound. She's been really active. Clark backing up and dropping a three. Opening 5+ minutes. The Fever point guard is failing it. The 32-year-old rookie out of Australia. Here is Clark. Oh, yeah! Hand off Clark. Off the screen. Fire away. Drops a three. Putting on the moves. Amor sticks with her. Clark. Bullseye!
Got it. This one here might have been a bit of a heat check as it was pressured, but that's a.
We have not seen Aaliyah Boston here in a little bit. Clark thought about the three, circles around, fires away, and hits! Go to the line.
Sizing up the defense.
And this young Washington group has answered right back. Ainz-Allen on a handoff to Clark. Oh, yeah!
Oh,
Will it be Mitchell? Will it be Clark? Cunningham looking. First it's Ainz-Allen. Handoff Clark for the tie. Yes! Caitlin Clark has tied the game with under 2 seconds left to play. Making here from Indianapolis. Caitlin Clark sends us to overtime because Sonia Citron's